Meet the player nickname. When a birth name can only take you so far, a nickname is invented to create, elevate, or eliminate a reputation. There are bears and beasts, spiders and fleas, making sports a jungle of moniker and marketing madness. Some are so busy, initials suit just fine, while others rely on long-winded prose. Whatever the case, nicknames are like glitter. Once they attach themselves to you, they're nearly impossible to wash off. Nicknames may hide the real persona inside, but they can never hide from the truth. The New York Yankees are one of the oldest and most successful franchises in sport. The perfect combination for producing some of the oldest and most successful player nicknames. The leader of this illustrious pack is probably the man known as Babe. With a birth certificate reading George Herman Ruth Jr., Ruth became Babe while with the Boston Red Sox, owing to his youthful looks. But when he was sold to the New York Yankees on Boxing Day 1919, the Italian influence of his new city earned him another moniker, and Babe also became the Bambino. Meanwhile, the Red Sox were left with what was known as the curse of the Bambino. Going from first to worst, it took the franchise 86 years to win the World Series. Ruth's offensive prowess in the sport was unprecedented, and coupled with his unbridled charisma, he earned a third nickname, the Sultan of Swat. The Sultan, the Bambino, Babe, whatever you want to call him, Ruth retired with legendary numbers, including a .342 batting average, 714 home runs, and thousands of hits and RBIs. But off the pitch, his actions were as far from Babe as they could get, having been known as a wild womanizer and drinker. None of that mattered in the end. Babe Ruth was an original inductee into baseball's Hall of Fame and is considered the game's greatest. Coming up, we make our way through the football nickname forest. Nicknames in football can be found back in the days of one Stanley Matthews, the only man knighted while still playing. In 1956, Matthews became the first winner of the European Footballer of the Year award, now known as the Ballon d'Or, with his almost magical dribbling ability, earning him the nickname the Wizard of the Dribble. Matthews played top-flight football until he was 50, leaving many wondering if he really was a wizard. The English have since labelled their footballing heroes with a fair share of strange titles, some fitting, some flaunting, and a few accentuating failure. One man whose nickname accentuates all three is Stuart Pearce. Uncompromising and unnervingly intense, the defender was so tough that he was referred to as Psycho. Psycho made 78 appearances for the England national team. But when it came time to make the decisions as manager of the GB Olympic team in 2012, many called him Psycho for leaving out the nation's football icon, David Beckham.
I have to be comfortable when I get in my bed at night, that I've made decisions that are solely on footballing grounds alone, nothing else.
Beckham was hit hard by the disappointing news, looking like a wounded puppy when confronted by the media.
You know, I hope the GB team go there and win as many medals and gold medals as possible.
But wait, why the smile, Bex? Perhaps it's because he got the last laugh, as Psycho and company got knocked out in the quarter-finals on penalties. The English also labelled their foreign footballers with fun and fancy nicknames, with Netherlands great Dennis Bergkamp and his fear of flying greeted with an obvious one, the non-flying Dutchman. And Norwegian international Ole Gunnar Solskjaer labelled the baby-faced assassin, thanks to his goal-poaching skills and boyish looks. And while local boy Ashley Cole became Cashley for his contractual decisions, no moniker was more humiliating than that of David James, or Calamity. James wasn't a bad keeper. In fact, he holds the Premier League record for most clean sheets, with 173. James played 536 top-level matches, third all-time, winning a League Cup with Liverpool in 1995. And in 2008 with Portsmouth, became the oldest keeper to win an FA Cup at age 39. But it was during his stay with Liverpool that he earned the nickname Calamity James, thanks to his frequent blunders that he attributed to his addiction to video games, which affected his concentration. He cut back on the gaming, but the errors kept coming. However, they didn't stop the England senior side from capping him 53 times, with his final appearance coming against Germany at the 2010 World Cup.
I'm delighted for England as a nation that we've got an opportunity to play Germany. It gives everyone at home an opportunity to hopefully, and I'm confident that we will do, enjoy what will be a great game of football and a good victory for England.
Once again, Calamity James was way off the mark, as England got hammered 4-1. In a game marred by a botched call on a Frank Lampard non-goal that really was one, and a bunch of grave defensive errors that, oddly enough, had nothing to do with James. When it comes to birth names, Brazilians like them big. Like Edson Arantes do Nascimento. Named after inventor Thomas Edison, Edson could have had an even bigger name if it wasn't for the fact his parents dropped the I. But when it comes to football, Brazilians understand that the shorter the name, the better. And Edson Arantes do Nascimento soon became Dico, before his mispronunciation of a childhood goalkeeping hero, Pele, led to a nickname now synonymous with footballing immortality, Pele. Other kids realized it annoyed me, and so they started calling me Pele even more. Then I realized that it wasn't up to me what I'm called. Now I love the name. Time now to look at some of Brazil's best football abbreviations. Arthur Antunes Coimbra became known as Zico, an abbreviation of his childhood nickname, Arthur Zico. Despite being considered by many as the game's greatest ever passer, Zico holds the record for most goals scored at the Maracanã, with 333 goals in 435 matches, and since became a politician and manager. Marcos Evangelista de Moraes, or Cafu, is Brazil's most capped player with 142, and is the only player to have appeared in 3 World Cup finals, winning 2. The dynamic defender got Cafu in reference to another Brazilian with similar footballing traits, Cafuringa. But while playing for AS Roma, earned another nickname, Il Pendolino, or the Express Train, for the way he blazed down the wing. Ronaldo de Assis Moreira became known as Ronaldinho, internationally. But in Brazil, that nickname was followed by another, Gaucho, or someone from southern Brazil. This was to differentiate from fellow footballer Ronaldo, who in Brazil was known as the original Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho lost the Gaucho moniker when he moved to Barcelona, where he became a two-time FIFA World Footballer of the Year award winner and won the 2005 Ballon d'Or, making him one of the greatest footballers of his generation. Ricardo Isaacson dos Santos Leite developed the unfortunate nickname of Kaka, thanks to his younger brother, Rodrigo, who couldn't pronounce his first name. Both went on to become professional footballers, with Kaka winning a World Cup in 2002. With AC Milan, he won a UEFA Champions League, Super Cup, and FIFA Club World Cup to go with his 2007 Ballon d'Or. His brother? He made just one appearance with AC Milan. And finally, thanks to his powerful frame and likeness to Lou Ferrigno, Givanildo Vieira de Sousa earned himself the nickname Hulk. But despite his superpowers, Hulk was a part of Brazil's disappointing World Cup side in 2014 that saw them get thumped by Germany 7-1. Like the athletes that play the sport, basketball loves their nicknames big. There's Big Game James Worthy and Big Baby Glenn Davis. Tim Duncan is known as the Big Fundamental, and Kevin Garnett is Big Ticket. And then there's Shaquille O'Neal, who's known as the Big Aristotle, and a load of other nicknames. Basketball monikers have also become massive marketing tools, thanks to the likes of Irvin Magic Johnson and Dr. J. Julius Erving. However, none were bigger than the greatest of them all, Air Michael Jordan. In fact, in 2014, the Jordan Air brand earned $100 million. More than Jordan made in cumulative salary in his 15-year NBA career. Not bad for a retired old man. Air was the greatest way to describe arguably the greatest ever basketball player, which makes his moniker, like himself, a hard act to follow. Some have tried, with Charles Barkley and his round mound of rebound, or Kobe Bryant's Black Mamba coming close, but not close enough. Nowadays, the game's biggest names include King LeBron James, the Durantula, Kevin Durant, even high Griffinition Blake Griffin. But it'll take a special man to supplant a man named after a necessity of life. Up next, we look at some knockout nicknames. When it comes to boxing, nicknames are generally associated with how an athlete is going to kill you. There's Thomas the Hitman Hearns and the Eastern Assassin Larry Holmes.
I had a great career. Boxing's been great for me. And if I had to do it all over again, I'd do it all over again.
Former undisputed world heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist Joe Frazier was smokin'. And former undisputed world heavyweight champion and reformed ear-biter Mike Tyson was Iron Mike on the outside.
Now Mike opens up, and the right hand finally dumps him.
But on the inside, it was a whole different story.
I tried so hard in my whole life to get away from being Iron Mike. I'm just not that person no more.
And while each moniker makes a man seem capable of conquering the world, only one man can claim the label, the greatest, Muhammad Ali.
For this fight, I've wrestled with alligators. I've tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning and put thunder in jail. You know I'm bad. I have murdered a rock. I injured a stone, and I hospitalized a brick. I'm so bad I make medicine sick.
But for all the boxing bravado, There is one man whose nickname tells the world what he is outside the ring because of how he boxes inside it.
Floyd Money Mayweather!
The earth is my turf. You can put me in any ring, and I will always come out victorious.
Modesty isn't the first thing that comes to mind when one thinks of Floyd Mayweather Jr. When it comes to his boxing, one thinks of his defensive genius, able to wear his opponents down before attacking on the counter. His perfect 49-0 record also comes to mind, winning 26 by knockout. He's a 5-division world champion and a 6-time winner of the ESPY Award for Best Fighter. But that all seems to get lost with everything that happens outside the ring. Things got crazy early for Mayweather Jr., who was born into a dysfunctional family of boxers that included his dad, Floyd Sr., who spent time in prison on drug charges. Floyd Jr. used boxing to deal with his troubled family and as a means to earn a living. And what a living he's earned. In 2015, Mayweather Jr. made more than $300 million in winnings alone, a world record for an athlete. Hence the money label, and he ain't scared to throw it in your face.
The champ is here. The champ is...
Oh, that is nice.
Sure, leading to his retirement in September 2015, he tried to pound another nickname into people's heads.
I'm TBE. You know, Ali was considered the greatest. I call myself TBE, which is the best ever.
But with Twitter feeds reading, "Money doesn't make me, I make money," the TBE sale was one fight he never won. And whatever happened to his dad? He became Floyd's trainer, and a man quick to show the world where his son gets all his humility from.
And as a trainer, I'm the best. I must confess. For all the rest, there's no contest. I will shock your mind. I'm one of a kind. I'm the greatest trainer of all time.
In a game that features birdies, eagles, and albatrosses, perhaps it's only natural that golf leans on animals for their nicknames. Hence, Jack Nicklaus, the man with the golden hair and husky build, went from Fat Jack to the Golden Bear upon winning his first major. The Australians went local when they named Greg Norman the Shark, and Argentina's Angel Cabrera, whose waddling up and down the course garnered him the label El Pato, or the Duck. And then there's Eldrick Woods, the man commonly known as Tiger. In this wild battle of animals, the Golden Bear ranks first in men's major championship wins, followed by a tiger, a shark, and a duck. Woods was nicknamed Tiger in honor of his father's South Vietnamese friend and fellow soldier in the Vietnam War with the same nickname. However, it wasn't the only nickname Woods had growing up. His dad also called him Sam, and his reasons were extremely deep and meaningful. Because he looks like a Sam, he said? Whatever you say, Dad. But anyway, there was one more moniker that troubled Tiger while studying at Stanford University. Once a gangly kid with oversized glasses, Tiger was also called Urkel by his classmates, thanks to his resemblance to the nerdy character of the same name in an American sitcom, Family Matters. And though golf may seem like a sport for the less exuberant, many of their nicknames are not. Take Scotland's Colin Montgomery, who waged war against American golf fans by calling them ignorant. Their revenge came when they recognized his uncanny resemblance to Robin Williams' cross-dressing nanny character, Mrs. Doubtfire, and decided to throw that label at him. Unfortunately for Montgomery, it stuck. South African golfer Ernie Els, who stands 1.91 meters and possesses a seemingly effortless swing, earned Ernie the nickname The Big Easy. John Daly has been known as Wild Thing and Tim Herron as Lumpy for being exactly as advertised. While Jesper Parnevik got the nickname Spaceman after a rumor spread his nutritional program included eating volcano dust. There are some odes to past lives, like Miguel Angel Jimenez, who was once his nickname, The Mechanic. And then there's Aquaman, Woody Austin, who was immortalized falling face-first into a pond at the 2007 President's Cup. But rather than take offense to the name, he ran with it, wearing a diving mask the next day. Since 2011, Venezuela's Pastor Maldonado has been terrorizing his competitors on the circuits of F1, but it has nothing to do with skill. Sure, Maldonado has won one race over the course of his F1 career, which is one more than most people in the world. But he's also crashed his F1 car more than most people in the world, earning himself few allies on tour and a dubious title. Pastor Maldonado, Crashtor. While you sort of feel for the guy, as every mistake made is scrutinized and even laughed at, he's also F1's most lucrative pay driver. Maldonado earns up to £28 million a year from Venezuela's state oil company, all to crash and sometimes drive his car. Still to come, the Spanish football defender who simply goes by Dave. Ever since Chelsea owner Roman Abramovich took over the club in 2003, the foreigner list with the Blues has been long and loaded with big names. Big, but generally easy to pronounce names. There was Zola and Vialli, Flo, Crespo, and Alex. And then there was a man from the Ivory Coast whose nickname, Tito, is as easy to say as his real name, Drogba. There have been a few tongue twisters, like Nigeria's Celestine Babayaro and France's Claude Makalele, but generally, Mr. Abramovich has invested in a good crop of easy names. Things haven't changed in recent days, with Brazilians Willian, Ramirez, and Oscar accepting Spain's Pedro into their one-named trio with open arms. Even their most reputable manager, Jose Mourinho, is better known as the Special One. A man they hired twice. But in 2012, Abramovich did something a little different. Because when a feisty but extremely friendly fullback from Pamplona in Spain made the move from his club side Marseille to Stamford Bridge, he posed a unique problem for Chelsea fans. How the heck do you pronounce his name? Chelsea fans went to his managers for direction because surely they'd know what to call their own player.
Azpilicueta has the ball. Azpilicueta is leaving the box with the ball.
Excellent. His name is Cesar Azpilicueta. Or is it?
And also Azpilicueta has some discomfort in his legs.
Wait, what?
Azpilicueta.
And also Azpilicueta.
With his own managers only adding to the confusion, Chelsea fans came to their own conclusion. and thus the fullback from Spain is simply known as Dave. Birth names are beautiful to their families and a bold and precious stamp of genealogical honor. But sometimes in sport, a birth name just isn't enough. And that's why the nickname is needed. Because they turn average Joes into interesting foes, with curious monikers that may say more about who they are, where they're from, and what they've done than any name given at birth. Sorry, Mum and Dad, but that is the truth.